Wait till you hear this one.
Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Neighbors.
Somewhat.
What does that mean?
We're a few houses apart.
I didn't say next door neighbors. I said your neighbors.
Okay.
And you got a new truck.
Yes.
And you were a friend of his?
Yes.
So you wanted to show him your new truck, right?
Well, yeah, I wanted to show him an accessory I added to the truck.
So why don't you tell me what you did?
I called him up. I asked him to come down to my house. He said he was very busy. He had a lot of things going on, and that he wouldn't be able to make it down to my house right away. I said, well, I'll come over and show you. So I drove up to his stoop, across his grass, and parked next to his stoop and got out and showed him my truck.
Across my grass.
Across your lawn.
Right.
Well, he's done it to me in the past.
Just a sec. I don't care whether he's done it to you or not. That's not the subject of this lawsuit, sir. The subject of this lawsuit is 5 minutes after you drove your truck off his property, what happened?
My cesspool caved in. It was a little more than 5 minutes, but it caved in within a half an hour. The whole thing
Well,
caved
the
in.
cesspool's 50 years old anyway.
Shh. Hey, don't talk to him. Talk to me. Can I please see the pictures of the damage to the driveway, to the lawn? You have estimates?
Yes.
Let me see them.
I have the paid cesspool bill, which when I gave to him, he crumpled up, ripped up, and threw at me. And I have estimates, which the work isn't done on yet.
What are you showing me here?
I'm showing you the collapsed wall, the collapsed rail tie wall that fell in.
When
My
did you take these
shrubs.
pictures?
When it happened.
When it happened?
Yes.
And what was the total estimate to fix this cesspool?
Total estimate for the cesspool, I believe, was $1,200.
And what are all these plantings here? You got 5 azaleas, boxwood trees.
Those are the trees that I lost in the cave-in.
You don't lose any trees in the cave, and you didn't even take care of your stuff in the beginning.
First of all, I lost all those trees. Those are the estimates I got on the trees that I lost.
Show me.
Shrubs.
You never
Show
watered
me.
your shrubs.
Hey,
They're
hey.
all dead.
Do I look like I need help from you?
No.
I mean, you were foolish enough to begin with, right? How old are you?
28.
Is this your house that you live in?
Yeah.
It's your house. You own this house?
Yes.
Who else lives there in the house with you?
My wife and child.
Did you fix the cesspool, I hope?
I fixed the cesspool. It took me 3 days to get the money up. I had to pay cash for it. And when I asked him for the money, he told me I could, why don't you just use an outhouse?
Oh. This bill that you got for concrete and all that other kind of stuff,
Yes.
$1,625?
Right.
What was that for?
That was for the driveway. It caved in.
The driveway caved in around
driveway
the
didn't
cesspool?
cave in.
Part of the driveway caved in with the cesspool, when the cesspool caved in.
Just a piece of it.
A piece of it.
But you had to replace the...
Well, I had, you know, if it was going to be replaced at one part, why should I have to suffer and look at that when he...
Keith McIsaac says his neighbor, Dennis Coletti, ran his truck over his lawn, destroying his cesspool. Dennis says Keith cracked his windshield.
So you had the whole thing done?
I didn't have it done yet. That's just an estimate. I have to, I'm trying to get the money, you know.
All right. Sir,
Yes.
your answer says that you did him a favor because the cesspool was 45 years old and would have caved in anyway sooner or later. That was your answer,
Well,
right?
every other cesspool in the neighborhood has caved in at one time or another, except for maybe 1 or 2.
But you pushed his a little bit quicker.
Well, my truck didn't fall in with it after I left his property. His cesspool
right,
happened to
that helped
cave
it
in as a
That
coincidence.
helped it out.
It's a terrible coincidence, but it did happen
It's not
that
a
way.
coincidence. Oh.
Now that I have a figure on here on the cesspool and the damage on the cesspool from these bills, let's talk about your counterclaim. Wait till you hear this counterclaim.
Would you like to see the pictures of him driving on my grass?
I don't care about him driving on your grass, sir. I don't care about him driving on your grass.
Well, it's just the manner in which we visit each other, and
That's
you
not
know,
on the,
maybe
it's not
maybe
on
it
the
is
grass.
childish.
The pictures that you have does not show the car on the grass.
Maybe it's childish behavior,
I'm
but
going to give you 3. I'm going to count to 3. And then if you both don't shut up, I'm going to throw you both out. I won't hear your case. Do you understand? All right. So you're counterclaiming for $300. You want to tell me what kind of damage he did and when this was?
well, the dollar amount that the estimate was changed to $119.08, based on an estimate I got. under bad information when I gave that $300 claim.
$119.08 for what?
A windshield, my wife's car.
All right. Now tell me about the windshield.
We went away on vacation, my wife and I and my child, and we were good friends, and Keith used to house it, and I have dogs, and he would at times when I left the house for extended periods of time take care of the animals in the house and watch over the house and feed my dogs and whatnot. And we came back from our vacation to find our dogs were never fed, and my wife's windshield was broken on a car. That was the only damage that I could put a dollar amount on. Outside of everything else he did in disaster.
$119.08 is
Right.
for the windshield.
Yes.
What happened to the windshield on the car?
I have no idea what he's talking about with the windshield on the car.
When did this happen, sir?
When we came back from vacation.
When?
Oh.
Month, year?
June of '96.
June of 96?
Yeah.
What a life. June of 96. I mean, you're going to go back in history? We're going to go back to the year of the flood? If he didn't fix the windshield on your car, when was the first time you told him you wanted him to fix the windshield on your car?
When we came back from after I realized it was broken. And he said he didn't break it.
So, did you sue him?
No.
So you waited until this?
Yes.
Good. Goodbye on the counterclaim. You owe him $2,825 so he can fix his driveway and he can fix his cesspool. You're 28 years old. You're supposed to be a responsible human being. You have a wife. You have a child. You don't take a truck and drive it on somebody else's lawn. That's stupid. Goodbye. You were interested in meeting some nice gentlemen.
Correct.
And how did you find the defendant's service?
In a magazine, it's called The Journal,
Can
which
I s-
circulates all over Los Angeles.
Do you have the ad?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Now, why don't you tell me what happened when you responded to this ad?
Well, when I called up Ultimate Encounters, as described as it states in her magazine advertisement that the service is free for women. So I called her up and she gave me the pitch over the phone, how she has thousands of men inside her catalog, and, you know, they're all professional, they earn well over $100K, and she invited me down to her home, and she works out of her living room, which is located in Redondo Beach, and I went down there and she described me her service and how she has years of experience of psychology and sociology, and how she must have set up, you know, 90%, anyway.
Wonderful, and it wasn't going to cost you anything because the men pay.
Well, when she told me the service for women was free, however, you have to pay a fee of only $165 to have your photographs taken at her photography studio located in Hollywood. And you don't have the option of going to your own service, you have to go to hers. You don't even have the option of bringing in your own photographs.
Did you at any time ask then how she made a living? I mean, how does she make her money?
What she does is that she contacts all these men that she has in her catalog, tells them about our profile and background. If they like what they hear, then they go down to her house, review our photographs, then they instruct her, I want to meet this woman, that woman, this woman, and then she contacts the women and said, this guy wants to meet you, this guy wants to meet you, this guy wants to meet you.
That sounds all very nice. How do you make your living? Do you charge the men?
Yes, Your Honor. The men pay the membership fee, not the women.
Oh, interesting. So, and what do the men pay?
Depending on how long they join, Your Honor, they pay anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000, depending on the length of the membership, depending on the amount of guaranteed introductions they receive. The women pay absolutely no membership fee whatsoever. Period.
So let me figure this out. So you went down and took your photographs
Correct.
and paid the $165.
Correct.
And nothing happened.
Correct.
Didn't get a call.
I got nothing from her. Every single month I called her and I go, hey, what's up? What's going on? Anything yet? And finally, after the 4th or 5th month, I finally got her on the phone because every time I called her, I always got her machine.
And she said you weren't picked.
Well,
In effect, that's what she said. I mean, I'm not being unkind to you, right?
Right.
That's what she said to you.
well, she said a little bit more than that.
Well, I'd like to hear what she said.
She goes, well, I asked her, hey, Linda, what's going on? It's been 4 or 5 months. You know, you gave me the impression that you were going to set me up with all these guys, you know. And she said to me, listen, had you read your contract, the service fee was free. I work for the men who paid me a service fee of $5,000, and had you paid me $5,000, I would get off my butt tomorrow and start look for someone for you. And why don't you just go F yourself, and you need to get yourself life. And then she hung up on me. I'm just going, real nice woman. So I called her back up. I go, Linda, listen to me. All I want to know, how many men did you potentially introduce me to?
What did you call her back for?
Well, I was just kind of curious. How many men did she present me to?
Yeah.
1, 2,
Just a
5,
second,
50?
just a second. I don't want to hear you anymore. How many women like this paid you $165 to have their photographs taken?
I've been in business for over 6 years. This is the first time this has ever happened.
Well, maybe because the other ones were embarrassed.
I would say probably 500.
Why did you need a certain photographer to take the pictures?
The way that I do that is because when the men review the files, they're very visual. I can guarantee they have not been airbrushed or retouched. They feel comfortable when they go and meet the women for dinner, that they will not look different. They will not be disappointed.
Just a second. We may talk a good game. I guarantee you on your best day, you're not as smart as I am. You are seeing the product in your office. If the product comes in, the lady product, you don't mind if I refer you to, for the purposes of this argument, as a product, you can see what they look like. And if they bring you a photograph and say, well, here are my photographs, and you look at it and say, babe, this is airbrushed, or this looks like you when you were 12, can we get some more updated pictures? They can go out and do that. So that's the assurance that you need because you're meeting the person. She came to your home/office. So why does she have to take pictures for $165?
I just explained to you so the men feel...
Baloney! Because what you're saying to the men is, I've seen this person. They come to your home/office and they look at the photographs, and what you're saying is, I have seen this person, and this photograph is a fair and accurate representation of what they look like. I wouldn't allow a photograph to be placed in here of somebody that's 10 years old. So you're a scam artist because you're using this photography business as a way of making money.
I disagree.
Your service... Oh, no. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out. Cost her $165, and she got absolutely nothing from it. She's perfectly attractive, upbeat kind of gal. People would know that she's an upbeat kind of gal from a photograph, but she's certainly a perfectly attractive lady. She spent $165 and got absolutely nothing from you because, as far as I'm concerned, you're operating a scam.
Can I interject, Your Honor?
Yes.
Charges $3,000 with zero guarantees, and they make you go to that one photographer for $250, like it or not, no guarantees. And I personally got married through them.
Well, I want to tell you something.
So they do the same routine. So
I
what
want
I'm
to tell
doing...
you something. Just because one company is scamming for $250 and one company is scamming for $165, that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right. And I'm not even going to ask you how much of that $165 ends up in your pocket. Because I don't like people to commit perjury. Dear.
Your Honor, there were no guarantees
Did you hear what I said? You want me to ask you the question? How much of that $165 ends up in your pocket? How much of that $165 ends up in your pocket?
Very little.
Ha! Very little ain't nothing. So what you said is a free service. It's not a free
membership. Free membership.
God, Miss Talon, you know, everybody is out to make a buck on somebody else's sorrow, sadness, hopes, dreams, aspirations. Yours is one of the worst kind. And the other companies that you talk about who do the same thing are also among the worst because they're taking people who are really looking to make a life for themselves who say, I want this. And whether it's your place, great hopes, great dreams, whatever else they are, they're saying, pay us $165, pay us $250, there's no membership fee, just go to our photographer. And you get a kickback from your photographer, whether it be $10 or $20 or $50 of $165. I'm not asking you that question because it's really not important how much you get. You've already told me you get very little, which means you get something. That, madam, is a kickback. Do you tell them that? Do you tell them you're getting a kickback from the photographer? Good. $165. That's what you're suing for. That's what you get. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.